video, you are going to discover what truly matters to you and how to translate that into a vision board. How to realign yourself with your priorities based on your situation, based on what your dream life is for you, and based on what really matters for you. So to do this, we're going to start by creating a sort of a life report card for you, and it is entirely subjective to where you are in life, what your priorities are, and what is your 100%. It is entirely specific to you. So think about what are your top 3 priorities in life. Now think about how you may have fared in these 3 subjects in the last 6 months, based on how much effort you put, how often did you think about those things, what actions you did, or what steps you took in order to make those top 3 priorities the best in your life. And this effort is entirely subjective, but if you gave your best, your personal best towards your top 3 priorities, then you get 100 on 100. This 100 on 100 may look different for everyone. Someone else's 100 may look like someone's 30, and that's completely okay, because all of us are different and all of us are at different stages in our life. So, if you think that you have absolutely done your best towards your top 3 priorities, great, I think you're definitely on the right path. But if you think that, okay, maybe I did not give my 100% to my top 3 priorities that are going to take me towards my dream life, based on your situation, based on what your dream life is for you, and based on what really matters for you, you can judge yourself more kindly, knowing your circumstances, knowing everything that has been going on in your life, everything that life has thrown towards you. So to know how you have fared in this little life report card, you need to ask yourself 2 questions. Number 1, what are your top 3 priorities right now? What were the 3 things that you were really focused on in the past 6 months? Question number 2 that you have to ask yourself is, what would your ideal 3 things to focus on, or top 3 priorities, be if a certain XYZ circumstance did not happen in your life? So it is important to ask these 2 questions to really get clarity within yourself on where are you right now in life and where do you think you want to be in life. For me, my top 3 priorities in the last 6 months were my physical health, my mental health, and my home. Due to, as I said, XYZ circumstance in my life, I really had to focus all my energy on healing my body. I had gotten quite sick in the last 1 year, and then I had to heal myself through that mentally, physically. These weren't ideal. I did not ideally want to have to work on these 3 things as my top 3 priorities. My ideal was building my wealth through business, starting a YouTube channel, which I am doing now. Number 3 was focusing on my physical and mental health. My priorities are quite different in the present versus what they would have been ideally if the XYZ circumstance had not happened. But what happened was that when I decided to judge myself on how am I doing towards building my dream life, I was considering my top 3 ideal priorities and not my top 3 current priorities. And what that resulted in was a lot of resentment towards myself for not focusing on what I thought I should be focusing on. And that is why it is very important to keep these 2 criteria separate. We have what are we doing right now and what are your top 3 priorities that you would ideally like to work on to build your dream life. Now let's proceed with a series of journaling prompts. Journaling is the one thing that has helped me shift my focus from the top 3 priorities that I was working on to move into the top 3 priorities that will lead me to my ideal life. It's time to grab a journal and a pen, and let's sit down, take a deep breath, inhale and exhale softly through your mouth, and just relax. What we are going to do next is we are going to reflect on ourselves through a series of questions so that we can translate that into goals and into pictures for our vision board. And then we are going to use this vision board to guide us in life towards our top priorities. So get your pen and paper ready. So let's start. Write down what are your top 3 ideal priorities that you want to focus on to live that dream life. It could be various things like buying a house, getting fit, starting a blog, starting a business, getting a promotion. It could be various things, and you have to pick top 3 that you think will take you to your ideal life. Now once you're done writing, write down why or what do you think you will achieve after focusing on these 3 things, and why is this your ideal. Question number 2. Now, we have to realistically and as accurately as you have observed, write down what are your top 3 priorities right now. What are the top 3 things that you have been focusing on in the last 6 months, as well as what are the things that you are focusing on right now in your life. That is, what are you thinking the most about? What are your top priorities in terms of towards what things are you taking actions and steps, as well as what are the things that you're putting in an effort towards. It could be towards your relationship, it could be towards your family, it could be towards your home, your mental health, your emotional health, your physical health, various things. But you have to write down what is it realistically that you're really treating as your top priority. You have to write down why are the ones that are your top 3 priorities right now, your top 3 priorities. What is the XYZ circumstance in your life that has caused these 3 things that you're focusing on to be your top? And you should write this down as much of a detail as possible. Like, what is the situation? How do you feel about the situation? And how has it led to these 3 things becoming a priority for you? This can feel quite heavy depending on the situation, but it's important to really feel these emotions. By writing about it, you're really expressing yourself to face them and accept them. For me, I had to focus on my physical and mental health as one of my top 2 things instead of it being one of the third top 3 priorities. I made my health and my well-being my priority, which is why today I am able to move on to the next step. It is really important that you write these questions. Here's a list, and answer them as truthfully and as openly as you can in your journal. You don't have to share it with anyone at all. Just be honest with yourself, because this is what will lead you control of your life and not the XYZ circumstance because of which you're having to take a detour in your life. So let's take a moment. I am hoping that you have written down the answers to those questions, and I want you to take a minute to just pause and thank yourself for taking the time out to actually write about it, to actually face the circumstance, whatever it may be, and to accept that it has happened in your life. And I think it's very commendable and great job. You've done really well by actually devoting that time to yourself. Next, you have to write down what are the challenges that you faced and overcame because of the XYZ circumstance of your life, so you understand exactly how strong you are and how far you have come. It's time for question number 3. All that was part of question number 2, where we're dealing with what our top priorities were at the moment. And now, before moving ahead, let's take another deep breath. Inhale. Exhale. Put a hand on your heart and write down 10 things that you're grateful for. It could be regardless of the situation, or it could be because of the situation. 10 things that you are grateful for today. Just write them down and then we'll proceed. Question number 4. Now we are doing a review of our top 3 priorities that are top 3 right now at the moment. Ask yourself, why are these 3 things your top 3? And since you've done the gratitude journaling and you have accepted the circumstance, now you will have a clear idea about why these 3 things are your top 3. Maybe you will discover that they are your top 3 because they are a stepping stone for you to step on to level up into your ideal 3, or maybe you discover that maybe one of them isn't serving you. Whatever it may be, it's important for you to reflect on them with gratitude and with an understanding of yourself, and at this point you have a fair amount of clarity to proceed. Time for question number 5. What are your top 3 ideal priorities? You circle back to question number 1 now, because after all this journaling, now you'll have an idea of what actually is ideal for you and what is the life that you want to lead. Maybe you'll discover that the top 3 ideal priorities for you are a mix of both your ideal and current priorities, which is great because you're already making progress towards your ideal life. Or maybe you'll realize that maybe one of your ideal priorities that you thought that you should be working on doesn't serve you anymore. It's not for you, not contributing towards your ideal life. And you'll just have an idea of what are the top 3 things that you really need to focus on. If at this point you think that the top 3 ideal ones that you had picked during question number 1 are still relevant, then great, because you're already on the right path. Whatever the realization, you should be really proud of yourself for taking the time out to sit with yourself and reflect. So now think about how you have done in the top 3 priorities according to what is your ideal and what your current priorities are, and score yourself out of 100 on each of these priorities. Maybe one of your priorities was earning more money and you managed to achieve that goal, get a promotion or get more sales for your business. So you would score yourself 100 on 100 out of that. Similarly, do that for all the other top priorities that you've had. This is where we come in for what truly matters for us. Put into a vision board. Now you have your top 3 priorities that you need to focus on, that you're going to be focusing on for the next 6 months. Now think about what would you do after you have gotten 100 on 100 in each of these top 3 subjects on your life report card. If in the next 6 months you did your best towards these top 3 priorities and you have achieved whatever you wanted to achieve, maybe it's earning more money, maybe you managed to earn the specific goal amount that you wanted to earn as a part of your top 3 priorities, what would you do with them? What would you do with that extra money? Maybe you want to travel to your dream destination, so you would put that money in a travel fund. Just think about what is it that you would do after you have completed that goal. What is it that you want to do if you get 100 on 100 in your top 3 priorities? Write that down as your goal, and that is the goal that you really want to work towards. If, for example, one of your top 3 priorities was earning more money, and then you say you want to travel to your dream destination, put down in front of that top 3 priority that your goal is to travel to this place. You need to have this much in your travel fund to travel to this place, and then in your vision board, you're going to put in pictures of your dream destination in the wealth section of your vision board, because it's related to earning more money, so that you remember what is it that you want to earn more money for. And that's how you decide what to put in your vision board, and that's how you make it personal to you. You get a clear idea what you want. And this is a part of manifestation, but it is also what is going to put that real intention and passion into the vision board that you look at every day, and it inspires you to take inspired action. Because when we take inspired action or regular action, even baby steps can have as much of an impact as running can. I'm going to talk about what inspired action is, how you can achieve it, and how you can maintain it for vision board in the next video. So make sure you subscribe. Visualizing yourself every day, doing that, and that's going to send a signal to your brain that okay, I already have this, it is possible for me. You're going to do things as if you already have. So the actions that you're going to take are going to be different because they're going to be inspired towards the life that you want. Everyone who makes vision boards wears that they work. And I'm one of those people. I know that a well-made vision definitely works, but it might not work in the way you expect it to work. For example, if you put a picture of a microphone in your vision board and you think, okay, I put a microphone, maybe I'm going to get a Spotify podcast deal out of it. That may not be what it translates to directly, especially in the next 6 months, but putting it on your vision board is definitely going to have an actionable impact into your life. So what that could mean is that maybe you're introverted, maybe you're shy, maybe you want to having a podcast, or maybe you want to start making videos. But what it translates to is that maybe you find a new friend who really loves the way you speak, and you speak really openly and freely with them, and then they encourage you to speak like that with others as well. Maybe you participate in an open mic event and you find out that, oh, this is really fun, this is what you want to do in life ahead. Or maybe someone spots you and offers you an opportunity, which might be even better than what you had in mind at the beginning when you put that picture in your vision board. So it's really important not to go ahead with a preconceived notion of what it is that you really want out of the vision. What we are actually instead doing is that we are taking a moment from your future life that, okay, if I want to go to Japan, for example, this is how that moment when I am in Japan would feel like. And that Japan trip may come through sponsorship, it may come through a collab, it may come through a friend, it may come through my own travel fund money, I'm not sure. But for me, going to Japan is good, for example. So I know that it will happen, but the way in which it will happen might not be what I think. It might not be in the way I think it should happen. What's important that you don't go ahead with a preconceived notion of a destination with your vision board, but rather as a journey to experience that you can expect to have along the way. So that way, when you make your 6-month review life report card, you can see exactly how far you have come towards that ideal goal, and you can rate it realistically based on your progress, based on how much of an effort you've put in, and not based on what you thought you were supposed to achieve. That way, when you make your 6-month life report card, you can accurately judge it objectively based on how much of an effort you have put in, how much of a progress you've made. You have confidence in speaking at open mic events. Maybe you have confidence in speaking freely to other people without inhibition, and that itself is going to be a life skill, and it's going to be a stepping stone that defines what happens next, because it's a continuous journey of progress cut down into bite-sized pieces for you to understand, okay, 6 months, this is what I was doing, this is what I want to be doing in life, and go on from there through review, through careful deliberation, and through accepting any circumstances or detours that life may throw at. That is how you become in control of your life and not let any external circumstances define. I also want to say that whenever I say you, if what I'm saying relates to you and you feel that, okay, you're talking about me, then yes, I am talking about you. But if you do not relate to it, then think of it as me speaking to you about that person who can relate. I will be making another video on a 6-month review, 6 months down the line, so we can do our life report card again after making our vision board. I'll also be posting a video on how to make that vision board from scratch with all the images, where to get those images from, how to put it together digitally or physically. So make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon so you get the video when it comes. I also have a newsletter with many such tricks and tips on how to glow up and how to live your best life in 2024. So make sure you fill the form in the description and I'll have the newsletter delivered to you. Thank you for watching till the end of this video. With lots of love and some lune. I hope to see you soon.